What is up guys, welcome to HITC Football. When you're watching this, we have almost seen an entire week of World Cup 2022 football. We've seen some insane shock results like Saudi Arabia against Argentina, Germany versus Japan as well. But the most important thing is that we already got to witness a Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo goal. But then I started thinking, Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo haven't really been that successful in World Cup. So I was wondering how many World Cup goals did the two actually score and which players have scored more goals in World Cups than Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. And surprisingly, there's actually a big list. Well, it's actually not that surprising since I just said that the two players haven't been that successful in World Cups. But believe me, this should be a fun one. And there's even one player that has scored more goals in the FIFA World Cup than Messi and Ronaldo combined. If you already know who that player is, let me know in the comments down below. You will obviously find your answer at the end of this video. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. As of the 25th of November in 2022, Lionel Messi has currently scored 7 goals after his penalty against Saudi Arabia, while Cristiano Ronaldo outscored him by 1. He's currently on 8 goals after his penalty goal against Ghana. And this is fairly new for Messi and Ronaldo because they're not the top scorer in this competition, something that they're definitely not used to. But the strange thing is that Argentina and Portugal both have players that have actually scored more World Cup goals at this moment than Messi and Ronaldo. So first we're going to see how these players hold up against their top scorers in their respective country, and then I just have a few other players that have scored more goals than the two, and this is a very interesting list, believe me. But let's start off with Messi, and the player that has scored more goals in the World Cup that's actually from Argentina. You can probably already guess the name, because Diego Maradona has scored 8 goals, 1 more than Lionel Messi at this current date. Yesterday Cristiano Ronaldo actually equaled Diego Maradona's tally of 8, but like I said, Messi still has 1 to go to equal Diego Maradona's tally. I just noticed that the date when I'm actually recording this video, it's exactly 2 years since the passing of Diego Maradona. Unfortunately, the footballing world lost Diego Maradona way too soon, since he passed away at the age of 60. But even though he's not with us anymore, we can still remember his great accomplishments in the world of football. Maradona played at 4 World Cups, achieving something that Messi would love to do as well, winning the trophy in 1986. And sure, Diego Maradona had some absolutely amazing moments in the World Cup, but also some fairly controversial ones, and I'm pretty sure that English fans know exactly what I mean. The moment is known as the hand of God, and it's obviously the goal that Diego Maradona scored with his hand. And of course, back in the day, there was no VAR, so the goal obviously stood. It was a big controversy, and England fans probably hate Maradona for this. But the fact is that he won the World Cup, scored 8 goals in the process, more than Lionel Messi at the moment. So it's fairly difficult to say that Diego Maradona didn't have a successful World Cup career. So now it's time to move on to a Portuguese legend, one that's currently on more goals in the World Cup than Cristiano Ronaldo. And where Cristiano Ronaldo is a Real Madrid legend over in Spain, Eusébio is a legend a little bit closer to home, playing for Benfica for 15 seasons and becoming an absolute icon there. His record at Benfica is absolutely ridiculous, 473 goals in 440 games. He even scored more goals than he had appearances in his entire career. So it's definitely a fact that Eusébio is an amazing goal scorer. And if you don't believe me yet, it's probably a good thing to look at his World Cup record. Because as crazy as it sounds, Eusébio only played in 1 World Cup in the 1966 World Cup, a tournament that English fans definitely hold very close to their heart. But even though England won that tournament, it's pretty safe to say that the star of the tournament might have been Portuguese, because in 6 games Eusébio managed to score 9 times. 4 of those were penalty goals though, but still, they count as goals. So this comparison is absolutely crazy. Eusébio managed to score more goals than Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo, who has played in 5 World Cups to date, while Eusébio only needed 1 to score 9 goals. It's absolutely ridiculous if you think about it. 9 goals in 6 games in 1 World Cup. So Messi and Ronaldo are still second in their country for World Cup goals, but I have a feeling that this will change during the tournament because obviously there's still at least 2 games left. Portugal are in a pretty good position after winning their first game, Argentina not so much, so I'm pretty sure that both players will be very motivated to score goals. Speaking about goals, this is absolutely a terrible transition, but we're going to move on to the next player who scored more goals than Messi and Ronaldo. This player comes from a country that both Messi and Ronaldo played in for years, and this player has actually been a teammate of Lionel Messi at Barcelona as well. The player I'm talking about is David Villa, who also scored 9 goals in the FIFA World Cup. After a successful season with Valencia, David Villa got called up to the Spanish World Cup squad in 2006, where he immediately set the tone for his Spanish World Cup career, scoring 2 goals in his first game. He also scored against France before his country got knocked out, but he finished the tournament with 3 goals. The 2010 World Cup was way more successful for David Villa and his country. As we all know, they won against the Netherlands in the final. Doesn't still hurt 12 years later, definitely doesn't. But David Villa was absolutely spectacular in the tournament, scoring 5 times. And then in the 2014 World Cup, David Villa also played for his country, where he only managed to get 1 goal as Spain got knocked out in the group stage. But with his 9 goals in 3 World Cups, David Villa outscored Messi and Ronaldo and also helped his country win the World Cup trophy, so definitely not a bad career if you ask me. In this video we already talked about some amazing goal scorers, but the next player is a little bit more surprising if you ask me. He's not necessarily known as the most clinical goal scorer, he's not even a striker actually. I think that you can describe him a little bit more as an assist king. Across 4 World Cups, Thomas Müller has already scored 10 goals for Germany. Thomas Müller already played 18 times during the World Cup. The most amazing thing is that Thomas Müller already scored half of his 10 goals during his first World Cup in 2010. Unfortunately for Müller, his country went out in the semi-finals of that tournament, but 4 years later they made up for it, winning the 2014 World Cup. And there's no doubt about the fact that Müller was a star player at the tournament, again scoring 5 goals. This guy only needed 2 tournaments to score 10 goals in the World Cup. He didn't score in the 2018 edition, which definitely didn't go that well for Germany. And so far during the 2022 World Cup, Müller didn't manage to score. He only played 1 game, so okay, he can get away with that. But the Germans definitely need his goals in their next 2 games after losing their opening game against Japan. You would think that 10 World Cup goals would put Thomas Müller in the first position for his country, but there are actually 2 players who scored more at World Cups than Müller. Klinsmann scored 1 more goal than him, so he might be able to equal that record this tournament. But there's one player that's on top of this entire list, the same player I talked about in the beginning of this video. Definitely keep watching to find out who that player is. But if you already have an idea, like I said, let me know in the comments down below. It's time to move on to a player who also scored 10 goals for his country. A player that I think most of you guys are pretty familiar with. Lineker played his first World Cup in 1986, immediately becoming top scorer of the tournament with 6 goals, winning the Golden Boot, making him the first English player to do so. He also scored the 2nd quickest hat-trick at a FIFA World Cup tournament, and after already scoring 6 goals in the 86 World Cup edition. Lineker scored another 4 in the 1990 World Cup to put his tally at 10 World Cup goals. Lineker scored goals at every single club, but he's most famous for his time at Leicester, a club that he supports as well. He also played for big clubs like Barcelona and Everton, and he also played like 3 seasons for a club named Tottenham Hotspur, which is not that important. But Lineker definitely was a great goal scorer for England as well, like I said before. He scored 48 goals in 80 appearances, definitely not a bad goal scoring record. And his 10 World Cup goals make that he's the most successful English goal scorer at World Cup. Next, it's time to talk about an absolute legend. When you think of World Cups, you instantly think of Pelé. The Brazilian legend scored goals for fun, and sure, I have to give it to him, he scored a lot of goals. But when will somebody actually tell him that goals scored in training don't even count? Because come on now, yes, he scored a lot of goals. A little bit pathetic how Pelé is holding on to his record, even though that Ronaldo and Messi have clearly overtaken him by now. But I mean, fair, credit where credit is due. This guy scored a lot of goals both for club and country. But Pelé is definitely famous for his time with the Brazilian national team, especially during World Cup. Pelé played in 4 World Cups, winning the competition just 3 times. In 1958, 62 and 1970. He scored 77 goals in 92 international appearances for Brazil, a record that, yes, at the moment he still holds. But give Neymar some time and he will actually overtake Pelé as the highest goal scoring Brazilian in the history of the sport. Pelé scored 12 goals in 14 appearances, with 0 of those goals actually being penalties. This tally puts him in number 5 of all-time top scorers at a FIFA World Cup. And as crazy as it actually sounds, Pelé is not even the most successful Brazilian top scorer at a FIFA World Cup, because that immediately takes us to our next player, Ronaldo Nazário, who scored an absolutely insane 15 goals in 19 World Cup games, with only 1 of those goals actually being a penalty. If you talk about the best goal scorers in the entire game, you definitely think of Ronaldo Nazário. Ronaldo played for the biggest clubs in world football: Real Madrid, Barcelona, Inter Milan, AC Milan. This also tells you that this guy didn't really believe in the concept of club loyalty. I really don't know if there are a lot of players that played for both Real Madrid and Barcelona and Inter and AC Milan. Ronaldo scored more than 350 career goals, while also scoring 62 international goals for Brazil in 98 appearances. Ronaldo won the tournament twice, in 1994 and 2002. He actually didn't play in the 1994 World Cup, but was still called up by his country. 2002 World Cup was way more successful for Ronaldo, but for a long time it didn't look that way, because prior to the tournament, Ronaldo was out for a long time with a long-term injury, and we all know his famous haircut that he had to take away the attention from his injury, and it definitely worked. His country obviously won the tournament and he tied Pelé's goal scoring record of 12 goals. In his last World Cup, the 2006 edition, Ronaldo scored another 3 times to put his tally all the way up to 15 goals. And just to realize how absolutely insane this tally is, Ronaldo has the same amount of tournament goals as Messi and Ronaldo combined, a tally that he managed in only 19 games, while Messi and Ronaldo needed a combined 39 appearances to score 15 goals again combined. But even though that this tally is absolutely insane, this still puts him only in the 2nd place of all-time FIFA World Cup tournament goal scorers, because the one player that takes the crown one is Miroslav Klose with 16 goals in 24 appearances. A minor detail is that Klose managed to get that tally without scoring a single penalty goal. Miroslav Klose's career has been pretty spectacular, spending the majority of it in Germany, while playing the last 5 seasons of his career over in Italy for Lazio. But it's safe to say that Klose definitely felt at home when he was playing for the German national team. He scored 71 goals in 137 appearances for his country. Prior to the 2014 World Cup, Klose didn't win the tournament with his country. He also announced to the world that he was retiring from international duty after the 2014 World Cup. But somehow the stars aligned for Germany and Klose. He only needed 2 more goals to become the all-time World Cup top scorer. And while his country managed to go all the way to the finals against Argentina and eventually win the trophy, Klose got his 2 goals and is now the all-time top scorer of the World Cup. So retiring with 16 World Cup goals, a World Cup trophy, while also becoming the international top scorer of Germany of all time is definitely an unbelievable achievement from a great player. So guys, that's the video done. We've seen some amazing players that have scored more FIFA World Cup goals than Messi and Ronaldo, with one player scoring more than the 2 combined. Absolutely ridiculous. Let me know in the comments down below, who do you think will score more World Cup goals this tournament? Is it Messi or Ronaldo? As always, be sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel, click my videos to the end screen right now, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.